offense and defense, don't you agree?
Certainly. I mean, that was a great result in Harrisburg, and I think it's going to be a really tight game again today. And we've talked about the offense of Harrisburg, but Detroit's defense has got to come through for them today at the Palace, and we got a good crowd for it, man.
Well, you heard the open, Randy Prescott talking about trying to hold teams under 10 points, and that's exactly what they did in the first meeting of the year back on December 18th when Detroit came from 3 points back and beat them 10-9. They're going to need a similar type defensive performance tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, but on the other side of the coin, you know, Harrisburg's defense is not that good. I think the Rockers can score 15, 16 points this afternoon, and so I believe their cushion might be 12, 13 points. But we'll see.
Well, Drago and the Rockers have dropped 2 straight, 5 of their last 6, and they realize the pressure is on right now. They need to start winning soccer games and especially hold serve at home here at the Palace as well.
Psychologically, the Harrisburg Heat have got the momentum going, but the Rockers have got these 9 home games out of the 14. This is key.
All right, let's pause for our national anthem. Nicely done by Emerson Corral from Ann Arbor, making the trip in here at the Palace to sing the national anthem and watch Detroit square off against Richard Chinapoo's Harrisburg Heat, a team that comes in 5 up and 7 down on the road, but a loser in the last meeting against Detroit 10-9. Drago and the Rockers, as we mentioned, trying to get closer toward that 500 mark, and they need to do just that if they want to contend for a playoff spot. Goose Finnerty, one of the best in the business, second in the NPSL in goals against, and you always got a chance to win with Brian Finnerty between the pipes.
He's been playing very well lately. He actually had a great game in the All-Star game up in Edmonton, where he went in the second half and Canada were leading 10-4, and they eventually he pulled the Americans out with an 18-14 victory and got the win.
Yeah, we've talked about the accomplishments in his career with us here on this broadcast in the past, and here's a guy who's been red hot for Harrisburg, hasn't he? As a matter of fact, he was the Defender Player of the Week.
Defensive Player of the Week, and he's been one of the reasons why this Harrisburg team have won 4 in a row. Richard Chinapoo told us before the game, it's attitude and focus, and this guy has set the tone between the pipes for the Harrisburg Heat, and Richard Chinapoo said he certainly deserves his Defensive Player of the Week honors.
Well, we should note too, Harrisburg, maybe their legs a little tired because they played last night.
The Rockers played on Friday night, so they had a day off. Harrisburg played in Baltimore, had a tremendous 16-15 victory. Unfortunately, they lost Wendell Regis, one of their better players, probably to a season-ending knee injury. But they still
that hurts, and Detroit knows all about injuries, and we talked about that in the open as well. Richard Chinapoo feels like his club at this stage of the game is playing pretty well, and who can blame him on a 4-game roll? But they do have some ground to make up there in the conference. So if they want to contend for a playoff spot, they need to start winning some games, and whether it be road, home, whatever the case may be, Harrisburg feels like maybe Detroit is ripe for the picking just because of the way the Heat are playing. How much does it take out of you, though, having to play last night then travel, get in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and try to get mentally and physically psyched up to take on this Rockers club.
Obviously, you're going to have heavy legs, and the Harrisburg Heat have done the business in the first 2 quarters usually, so let's hope the Rockers can keep them scoreless early on because of that.
Harrisburg in the road black uniforms with the red letters, which doesn't do us any favors, I might add. And Detroit with the home white as Trett fires it into the far corner. And coming way out of his crease area, Doug Petros to pop it up into the Palace crowd.
Yeah, good early pressure by the Rockers. And Petros not very good with his left foot, had to kick it out. So a good set play right off the belt. And we've got Lucky Lee Tranchette on the ball.
He gets the free kick. Looking for somebody in the box. Oh, and they looked like they had a pretty good play there set up. Unfortunately, Harrisburg comes back the other way after disrupting it. Malachino was in that box area for Detroit and couldn't get the ball to come his way.
Gino DeFlorio, ponytailed leading goal scorer. He's gone really deep, and Bernie Lillevoy's posting up. There's Gino DeFlorio there, the old great left foot.
137 points to his credit so far, and we talked about in the open 46 in the last 10 games. 15 assists. Trett tries to get it to himself. Unfortunately, it rolls into the box, and Petros fires it up the far side wall off the Bud Light dasher. Prescott bumps it out toward midfield.
Harrisburg got caught changing there, and the Rockers dispossessed them, but now it's DeFlorio and the Heat again.
3-on-3 over the yellow line. Tries to get the shot away, and a great block by Prescott.
Heat appealing for a back pass. Hit Randy Prescott on the head, and Goose picked it up, brings it over the yellow line. Rockers changing.
With the problems they've had health-wise, especially defensively, although it appears as though Drew Callahan has given it a go here for Detroit. Probably it's just a little bit more pressure on Brian Finnerty if there's not enough on him already.
That's true, but they've got so many quality defenders, the Rockers, that even when they lose 1 or 2, they've still got 2 or 3 other good ones. And Jamin Tripoli, who comes off the bench, he's also injured. He's got a back injury, so I don't know whether he'll see much playing time. But yeah, certainly puts pressure on the goalie, but the Goose has played well, and he's got to be up to the task here.
Goose second in the league with an 11.6 goals against. Hoping to keep it going for Detroit here this afternoon against a Harrisburg team that's won 4 straight and looking up to even the season series. They played just twice.
Giannone Martinez, left-footed player, so composed on the ball at the back for the Rockers.
Bader dumps it into the far corner. Here's Callahan with a right foot shot off the dasher, and it comes out to the top of the circle. Harrisburg will try and move left to right, come back the other way. Gonzalez holding in midfield to Callahan far side. Drew Callahan, despite the injury, understanding that his teammates are undermanned to a certain extent, will play through this injury. Trett lost it for a moment. Ball remains in the Harrisburg zone.
Eloy Salguado, number 8 for the Heat, a former Rocker, broke that play up. Good pressure from Lee Tranchette.
Good pressure. Detroit applying a little man-to-man, and he forced the turnover. Pretty good pass up front too there to Joe Malachino, but Prescott will hold it in right around midfield. DeFlorio tries to pressure him. Prescott left puts it down in the near corner, and then punched out of there by the Harrisburg keeper up into the crowd. So the free kick in the near corner in the Harrisburg zone. There's Randy Prescott, all-time greats in the NPSL and Rockers history in blocks. Good
pressure there from Gary DiPalmo. Drago's obviously got them aware of putting some high pressure on early.
Malachino sends it in the box, and it's cleared out of harm's way. Good job by Jimmy Connor. Finnerty will punch it up back into the Harrisburg zone. Malachino drives it back to midfield. Giannone Martinez in the far corner now. Tough angle shot. Really, that's a pass off the dasher, folks, that you'll see. Gary DePalma was in the box. Couldn't quite get to it.
Also, Gino Martinez was right foot. The last victory at home, he hit a three-pointer with his right foot. What a great goal, and that put the Rockers in front, and they ended up beating Edmonton a week ago.
Now Detroit needs more points. There's no question. They have 301 coming in. Averages 10.4 per game. That's a league low, the 301, by the way. They hustle. They got some numbers. Now up the far side, Tim Ernst. Midfield pass there to Dwayne Bader. Now on the far side, Lee Chantret. 11 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Janino Martinez with a shot. It goes high over the crossbar off the far plexi. Comes out to the near corner. Another tough angle shot, and Petrus forced to make the hand save, and it bounces back up into the crowd. A good sized crowd here at 2 championship drive this afternoon.
Shooting, you might score, Matt, and that's what Gino Martinez did, hit the crossbar, and then Rodrigo Gonzalez, he got a good shot off, and it results in a corner kick. Gonzalez
in the box. Chantret looking to feed him underneath, and tried to lift it there, but no problem with the save there for Doug Petrus. Who'll roll it out past the yellow line, scan the field, and send it to midfield there. Good move there by Drew Kaufman. Then he lost it just for a moment. Back the other way, Mike Williams. Pressure by Chantret. Forced the turnover at midfield for Callahan. Callahan punching it into the far corner off the Clark dasher. Gonzalez working hard in the corner. But Detroit really doing a good job of pressuring Harrisburg in the Harrisburg zone and really beating the Heat to every loose ball in the corner.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan for the Rockers. Here's a chance for the Heat.
Finnerty cutting down the angle on the far side post. Late man coming, a drive, and it goes off the plexiglass just to the left of Brian Finnerty. Salgado making a bid there for Harrisburg, really their best opportunity in this early quarter. Now a turnover, and Detroit trying to capitalize. They do so by punching it down. Stu Black into the Harrisburg zone. Heat taking their time. It'll be interesting to see as the game wears on whether they'll have some problems with their legs and how much energy this team will have, because we talked about them showing up around 4 o'clock this morning.
Pretty slow-paced game at the moment, though, so it's to Harrisburg's advantage. And I think Dragos said to the Rockers, hey, let's go out and pressure them early, see what their legs are like.
DeFlorio. Now Harrisburg punching it down low. Lillivaugh back to on the yellow line there, and now it picked off. Job by Detroit to again pressure him, and Bader trying to make a bid down the other way. Lillivaugh heads it back into the box. Detroit able to clear it out of there. And we've got a quick whistle there and a free kick for Harrisburg just outside the Detroit yellow line with 8:49 left to go in the opening frame. Tough shot, and Finnerty with hands up high around his face, able to knock it down with the forearms.
Yeah, that was a pretty good save, even though it was a long way out from Goose. Sometimes you can get screened on those shots, deflected, and Rockers get a break, a deflection out of bounds, so it's their kick just over their own yellow line.
Finnerty all the way down the length of the field to Gonzalez. He couldn't control it. Prescott will hold it in, heads it to Callahan at midfield. Detroit has allowed just 13 points in their last 10 games on average. So if they can get it right around there, they should be in pretty good shape. Way out of position. Callahan with a drive, and a good job by the Harrisburg defense to come back and help out their keeper. Doug Petrus really taking a chance and trying to clear the zone, but couldn't. Chantret working hard to get it to Prescott. He was dragged down from behind. So we'll get a free kick for Lee Chantret and the Rockers just outside that Heat yellow line. Prescott will trigger it for Detroit. Gonzalez in the box. Prescott drives it. Gonzalez redirects it to the near corner. Chantret then hits it off the dasher, but Petrus is there for the save to roll it up the near side.
Great ball from Salguada to Lillivoy.
That one blocked by Prescott. Almost played a halfway through this first quarter. Harrisburg has a couple of shots on Brian Finnerty. Detroit has pushed a couple of shots in on Doug Petrus. Detroit scoring chances a little bit better than that of the Heat. Callahan doing a good job shadowing his man, and that's a penalty, no question, on Detroit. Tino
Cicluna, his first shift of the game. Drago said before the game, hey, some of these kids coming off the bench, you got to step it up. And middle of the first quarter, Tino's on there.
Cicluna's bump from behind gives Harrisburg the free kick just to the right of the Detroit net. DeFlorio punches it out at the top of the arc. Looks to get it back, and Finnerty will scoop it up before any more damage can be done. Fresh out of the box on the far side, DePalma fighting for it in the corner. Cleared by the Harrisburg keeper and up into the crowd. 7:15 left to go in this first quarter of play. Detroit and Harrisburg are scoreless at the Palace on Fox Sports Net.
This is the story of Season 9 in the FA Carling Premiership.
Oh, that's a brilliant finish!
An epic tale that displays the finest players that this league has to offer.
What a brilliant goal!
Capture every moment with live week-by-week coverage available through your pay-per-view provider. The English Premier League, Sunday, August 27th, live on pay-per-view.
This is a Fox Sports world-class moment.
Well-timed run here, held on to, Zamorano, goal!
This has been a Fox Sports world-class moment.
Rugby 101, protective gear. Now, nearly naked, an American football player and a rugby player look pretty much the same. But when they're dressed up, an American player gets to wear girdle, hip pads, rib pads, shoulder pads, and a helmet. A rugby player gets to wear a shirt. That'll protect you.
Rugby 101, our balls are bigger than yours.
Against a damp breeze.
Fox Sports World, the greatest soccer network on earth. Critics are calling it the must-see event of the new millennium, featuring Argentine soccer, English Premier League, Calcio Italiano, and the German Bundesliga.
Oh, yes!
If you see one soccer match this year, make sure it's on Fox Sports World.
A brilliant goal!
Fox Sports World. Get your game.
Doug Petrus, who's made a couple of nice saves against Detroit. Not a whole lot of pressure really put on either side of the field. And I'm surprised a little bit, Brian Tinney, quite honestly. I thought Detroit would try and take advantage of the fact that Harrisburg was tired and played last night and try to come out and really establish themselves early. Now, I think Detroit has carried the momentum to a certain extent. They're more physical. They look fresher, but they haven't been able to get as many shots on Petrus as I thought they should.
Yeah, one of the best chances they had was created when Doug Petrus came out and headed that ball. Drew Callahan volleyed one, and one of his defenders saved it. But it's a slow-paced game right now, and I'm sure that's to the advantage of Harrisburg. So here we have a free kick on the yellow line.
John Trett on the far side tried to pick it up there with Stu Black, and then it's punched up into the crowd.
Doug Petrus wants a two-man wall.
Trett will trigger it again, just inside the yellow line, near side. Prescott sends a shot off the dasher, then batted out of there by Harrisburg, and they look to try and run. They had a 2-on-1 briefly, and they punch it way up into the crowd. Salgado, well, what was he trying to do there, Brian?
Well, the ball came to him, and he tried to volley it over Brian Finnerty's head. When he played for the Rockers, he hit a great 30-foot shot from the halfway line in Canton, a small arena, and it hit the underside of the crossbar and went in. But that one certainly left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, not exactly close there. Now you coached him too, didn't you? You coached Salgado.
Yeah, he was only at the Rockets for like half a season, but man, he can score some goals. So we talk about Bernie Lilleboy and we talk about Gino DeFlorio, but Eloy Salgado can put the light on a few times also.
Absolutely. Last played from Montreal with the Impact. Now on the far side, Tim Ernst. Nino Martinez back to his keeper. Brian Finnerty comes way out. A lot of folks here at the Palace hoping to see some scoring. You think the slowdown game favors Harrisburg. I tend to think it favors Detroit just a little bit because Detroit's not that offensive juggernaut, if you will. You saw the graphic in our open. The number of shots on goal for Harrisburg, the number of points they score. Detroit would rather play a much tighter game and try to keep Harrisburg under 10 points.
Yeah, they look for the counterattack, the Rockers, and that's where they get most of the goals from, midfield and defenders.
Kevery setting up, and that shot way up. Well, that's a high scoreboard here at the Palace. Hey, fans, sign up for a 5-game reserve ticket package today. Save 25% off the regular ticket price, and you get to pick the seats at the next Rockers game. Call 877-480-KICK. That's 877-480-KICK today. Randy Prescott thought about kicking it and then brings it back on the other side of the midfield stripe. Finnerty comes way out of his box to play it up into the far corner. There to meet it, Gary DePalma. DePalma then turned it over. Good pressure by Detroit. A tough angle shot there by Bader. And a good save made by Doug Petros again. Chantrette dropped right in front of the Rockers bench. Detroit will get the free kick here. Chantrette will move his way toward the box. Callahan will take aim. Fires it, and it's kicked away in the box by Harrisburg. 5:35 left to go here in the opening quarter. Detroit and Harrisburg for the second of 2 meetings this season. Bader, midfield, near side. Prescott settling it down.
Harrisburg content just to sit back, let the Rockers come to them.
Gives him a chance to rest a little bit. Callahan punching it into the near corner. Keno tries to get it out. Now he forces the turnover there for a moment. Harrisburg back the other way. They're picking their spots, are the Heat. They're picking their spots on when to pressure and when to try and fast break, if you will, to use a basketball term in soccer. If they don't have the numbers, they peel back a little bit. Now in the far corner, Kevery. The near side, a shot blocked by Prescott. Boy, how many times do we talk about Randy Prescott? That time frustrating Drew Kaufman.
Yeah, Randy Prescott is 5th in the league with blocks. Every year he's in the top 5 or 6 in the league with blocks, and you know he reads the situation so well.
So does Drew Callahan. That's why it's important to have him out there. He leads the league in blocks. Prescott picks off that centering pass and throws it out of the Detroit zone. It rolls into the Harrisburg zone. Petros off the far side. Well, good job by Detroit. They're really pressuring midfield. We've got a problem on the far side, and it's the second time already tonight that Valentino Cicluna has been whistled.
It's amazing how some of the referees give the older players a break and not the younger players.
They know the rookies, don't they?
Yeah.
Or the first, second-year players. We haven't talked about DeFlorio much for Harrisburg, except in our open, and we really haven't talked about Bernie Lilleboy either. I mean, those guys really have been very quiet here in the early going.
Gino DeFlorio is playing a lot deeper, and Bernie is posting up, but Gino DeFlorio gets a lot of points off set plays, and here he is again on a set play. Well read by Drew Callahan.
Now that's not credit as a block, but you won't see that in the box score, what Drew Callahan did there, but that might have saved Detroit a goal, at least on that pressure situation. Here's Lilleboy. Lost it in the far corner briefly. Finnerty did a good job to come all the way out and bat it out of there. That gave Prescott the chance to clear the zone.
Unusual to see a goalkeeper punch in this league, but under those circumstances, Brian Finnerty did the right thing.
Lilleboy with Callahan there. There's a quick shot off the glass by DeFlorio. It rolls up the near side. Bader quickly up ahead. Good job by the Heat to clear the zone. Now they've got numbers, a 3-on-2. Shot save made by Finnerty. Boy, he tried to scoop it out of there instead of hold on to it. Chantrette quickly hustles in against the Viper Dasher in the far corner, but he can't clear it. He'll get the free kick, though, for Detroit. Goose Finnerty already with some nice saves for Detroit to keep it a scoreless game. Callahan up the near side. Chantrette giving chase at midfield. Now he throws it into the near corner. Another whistle. 3:15 left to go here in the opening period. After this, Detroit welcomes St. Louis to the Palace on Wednesday. Harrisburg, in the meantime, will hit the road to Kemper Arena to take on Kansas City on Wednesday evening. Callahan at midfield. Drives it up into the stands. Boy, you don't want to see that. You get a kick like that at midfield, you want to keep it in the Harrisburg zone. Now going up into the crowd, that gives the Heat a chance to basically bring it out of their own zone at will.
Yeah, Drew Callahan there, who took that shot. He's got a really bad bruise on the top of his foot, and you got to wonder how that affects him, because he has got a very accurate shot and a powerful one.
Yeah. Harrisburg trying to establish something in the Detroit zone. They'll have to do it at midfield. Here's Mike Williams. Back to his keeper. Punches it into the far corner. Lilliball giving chase there. Nino Martinez to Finnerty, who punches it out into the Harrisburg zone. Tim Ernst tries to bang bodies with his man up the near side wall, and now we've got another whistle.
Timmy Ernst had a goal in Milwaukee on Friday, a couple of assists, scored a big goal against Edmonton the last home game, basically the game winner.
Harrisburg settling it down in their own zone with 2:13 left to go in the opening quarter. Tim Ernst lost it there to Lillivaux. Back come the Heat. On the move left to right. Scone fires it into the far corner, picked off there by Martinez up the near side. Aquino then lost it. Long shifts for Detroit. Maybe a lot of that has to do with the injury problem that they've had. I mean, you'd think a guy like Drew Callahan may not play that many minutes, but he's out there giving it a go for his team, and Drago's used him quite a bit. Quick shot in the box, went wide of the net.
Probably the best chance of the game there for the Heat.
There's another shot that goes wide. Follow up to the near corner. Now Detroit looks to break out. Up the near side wall, here's Martinez. Center ice, or center of field, I should say, for Tim Ernst. Ernst punches it into the far corner. In front, Chantrette scores! Good break for Detroit. They really moved the ball well, and they did a nice job of finding the open man. Very quick, precise passing to get him on the board first.
Anytime you get a 3v2, it's got to be one-touch passing. Timmy Ernst did great. Got possession, played it out wide to Black. One touch across the box. Lee Tranchette, the leading scorer. He loves those chances. He tucks them away on a regular basis.
Boy, nice setup. Chantrette, 17th two-point goal of the year. Give him 70 points on the Rockers. That's tops on Detroit's team, and they draw first blood, leading to 2-zip at the 107 mark of the first. Boy, as an ex-coach, how about that type of passing, though?
It's got to be one touch, and the weight of the pass has got to be good. Timmy's was a good weighted pass. Black played his right into the path of Lee Tranchette, and hey, that's all she wrote.
Overall, Lee Chantrette with his 30th goal of the campaign, 17th two-pointer to give Detroit a 2-0 lead. They'd like to keep the pressure on. Harrisburg dribbling in the Detroit zone up the near side. Williams tries to fire it toward the net, blocked by Prescott. Harrisburg able to hold it in, though. DeFlorio let it roll to Lillivaux, who gets it right back to DeFlorio at the yellow line. Up the near side, Jimmy Connor. Now DeFlorio thought about going after it. Drew Callahan, look at him bump bodies there on the far side wall. Drew Callahan is a big kid, who throws his weight around. Drew Kaufman just found out firsthand.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you get near the boards, though. You don't. They've been very disciplined this season, the Rockers, and you don't want to give the Heat a chance on the power play.
Gino DeFloria turns around, signals a timeout with 13 seconds left to go here in the opening frame. The Rockers lead it 2-0 thanks to the 30th goal of the season from Lee Chantrette. Detroit on top early, but plenty of soccer left to be played here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Goose Finnerty will call his team over just outside the box area and talk things over, strategy on how they're going to try and kill off Harrisburg for this final 13 seconds. The second quarter will open Detroit getting the ball first. Rockers summer soccer camps always successful, and they're fast approaching, folks. Camps include professional instruction from Rockers players for boys and girls ages 6 through 14. New programs include travel team camps, world-class striker and goalkeeper camps as well, high school power camps, and specialized camps and individual clinics for individual clubs. DeFlorio triggers it near side. Boy, they tried a little tic-tac-toe play there, and that didn't work because Detroit was able to break it up nicely. 5 seconds left to go in the opening period. Prescott back to Chantrette, now gets it right back and fires wide of the goal, but Detroit gets the only goal of the first quarter. Lee Chantrette burying his 30th of the season. All smiles early because Detroit leads it 2-0 with a fresh 15 minutes on the clock when we come back to the Palace. Right after this, the Rockers lead it 2-0 on Fox Sports Net.
Fox Sports world-class moment.
Has to be a veteran special. Can he dip it? Drops it in. Yes, he has. Nothing but haters. You can't keep a great footballer down.
This has been a Fox Sports world-class moment.
Greatest soccer network on earth, Fox Sports World.
Detroit with the early lead. How did it happen, Brian Finner? Or Brian Tinian, excuse me.
Timmy Ernst outside of the right foot, good weighted pass, and young Black just knocked it one touch across the goal. Luckily, Chantrette sniffing again, and he's happy. This is a situation where Timmy Ernst should have got an assist also. Lucky to get through, but that's why they call him Lucky Lee.
Well, I tell you what, that's a situation there with a lot of players, maybe younger players, might have taken time to dribble it too much. Stu Black with a quick touch pass, and Lee Chantrette buried it home, his 30th of the season. Just a 2-point goal, 1 assist going to Stu Black, and as Brian Tinney mentioned, probably should have had an assist to Tim Ernst as well.
Yeah, but Stuart Lee, if he takes 2 touches like you said a younger player might have done, that chance would never, it would have gone. So give credit to the young man. He deserves the assist for that.
All right, let's take a look at our first quarter statistics here at the Palace with Detroit on top 2-0. Harrisburg dominating in shots on goal. No fouls so far, or no power plays for either team. And Detroit, as we expect, just about any time they match up with somebody, they're on top in blocks.
Drago said that he has reduced the shots on goal by almost half this year as opposed to last year, and he attributes that to one of the main reasons why the Rockers are doing so well defensively.
Well, what do you think that Coach Chinipu thinks about this first quarter play? I would think he's relatively happy. He's got 10 shots on Brian Finnerty, and his team is down just 2.
Yeah, I think he's going to be disappointed with the goal that they gave up, but they have created chances of their own, and he just wants his team to be hanging around in the fourth quarter to give himself a chance of winning, because he knows that they've got the pure bona fide goal scorers, whereas the Rockers are getting them from defense and midfield.
Yeah, but he has to beat Brian Finnerty. That's the problem for Harrisburg. They beat him for 9 goals, or 9 points, I should say, in the first meeting, and had a late lead before Detroit was able to get a 3-point goal at the end and beat Harrisburg 10-9 in Harrisburg. Lillavoy quickly up ahead, stopping at the top of the arc there. Now a quick shot, and that goes high, and that's something Harrisburg has had problems. Not only Eloy Salgado, but just about everybody on that Heat team. They're really going high, and I don't know if that's their plan to try and beat Finnerty high or not, but whatever the case, they're getting under it just a little bit.
Yeah, that was uncharacteristic of Eloy Salgado, but that was the best chance of the game. Unforced error by Brian Finnerty, and Lillavoy played Salgado through. Should have done better. At least hit the target, like you say, Matt.
Petrus clears it with a header out to midfield. Salgado has it at midfield to the near side. Still plenty of soccer to be played. No time for Harrisburg to even panic. Detroit, in the meantime, the more you get up, obviously, the more chances you have of maybe burying a team like Harrisburg early, just from the standpoint of the Heat playing last night, maybe feeling a little tired. Drago's team playing excellent defense in that first quarter, and that's what they're known for. Drago told us earlier this season he wants his team to be the best defensive club in the NPSL. And they're right up there. You can read stats and read too much into certain things, but when you're looking at you know, number 2 in penalty kill and allowing only 12.6 points per game, Detroit is right up there amongst the top 3 in defensive categories. And usually, I mean, if you can stay healthy and find a couple of guys who can consistently put points on the board, you're going to be in the thick of things. Florio waiting for it at the top of the arc on the far side, and then lost it. Detroit trying to break out left to right. Prescott fires it into the near corner. It seems like Doug Petrus comes way out of his box an awful lot.
Yeah, but I like that in a goalkeeper. I mean, I think if you come out and read it, you can save a lot of things before they, you know, deteriorate.
Wayne Bader just missed, goes wide. Good hustle by Tim Ernst to slide down to the near side, but it looks like Connor is going to get an opportunity with a free kick, and he does.
Timmy Ernst got a big heart, hard working. That's a good foul to give away. Here's a chance for the Heat.
Trying a centering pass there. On the doorstep was Lillavoy, but it was a little long.
Yeah, Bernie Lillavoy would have been better at the far post there. Instead, he read it off the boards and just couldn't get on the end of it. Here he is again.
Being checked from behind there. Detroit really, it looks like at times they're going man-to-man. That time Stu Black did a nice job on Lillavoy. At times it's been Drew Callahan. Jan Trett right in front of the Rockers bench. Callahan throws it to the near side. Black tries to catch up to it. Connor now has it over the yellow line. Shot, score! Harrisburg gets the equalizer.
Jimmy Connor, the tennis player. He's happy with that goal.
Well, you talk about defensemen. Here's a defenseman for Harrisburg scoring the goal.
Ball comes off the boards. Good first touch. Takes his time. Full volley. Just beats the outstretched hand of Brian Finnerty. Really see how he lands on his kicking foot. Great strike by the youngster, and he's happy.
Well, he should be happy. Jimmy Connor only had 2 goals coming in. Now he has 3, all of the 2-point variety. And he's even things up here at the Palace. Harrisburg and Detroit.
And that's going to be the difference, probably, that have been on the third line. If they can step it up, Those are the type of players that are going to win the game.
Brian Finnerty punches it into the near corner. Harrisburg trying to take control. They send it up the far side. Look to break out. Malachino forcing the turnover. Far side. Gonzalez with a shot.
Good try by Rodrigo. Quick counter-attack by Harrisburg.
McEvery in the far corner. Boy, Ernst looked like he took a right elbow there. I'm not sure if it was an elbow or not, but it looked like he took a shot to the back of the head.
Joe Rudy. I think he's got to go down as the oldest referee in the MPSL, but he's a good one.
He's a former outfielder for the Oakland A's too, right?
Really?
A different Joe Rudy. Different Joe Rudy. I'm dating myself to a certain extent. Detroit gets Brian Finnerty winging it up the near side. Chantrette waiting for it off the near side boards. Dribbling in the near corner. Not a centering pass. Instead, it's picked off. Oh, and Chantrette just dragged his man down right at midfield in plain view. I don't know what Lee Chantrette is upset about.
We've got a.
I mean, that was a tackle.
Joe Rudy is talking Lucky Lee into the box. Drago not happy with that call by the referee, but hey, I think it was a good call. And
absolutely, I mean, you're going to see that there this spring with the Detroit Fury, the arena football. That's the kind of tackle that was.
Shootout for the Harrisburg Heat.
Dave Bascombe will get the opportunity right there at the yellow line. No one standing in front. They'll try to move in on Goose Finnerty. Has a certain amount of time to get to the keeper and get the shot off. 5 seconds once the whistle blows. Comes out, brings it to the near side. Finnerty cutting down the angle and made the save. Boy, what a great play by Brian Finnerty.
Yeah, Brian Finnerty did ever so well here. He stayed on his toes, didn't take the fake. Nice move by Bascombe, but Goose shuffled across. In the end, he tried to nutmeg him. Goose got his right knee on it. Big psychological save for Goose and the Rockers.
Power play for Harrisburg. Shot by DeFlorio, blocked by Drew Callahan. So Chantrette in the box for 2 minutes. Not only did they have the shootout goal opportunity there, they also have the power play and the free kick. So you really get penalized when you get that whistle.
And remember, this year you can get a 2 or 3 point goal on the power play, whereas last year was just a 1 point.
Harrisburg's power play 35.7%. Big block there by Prescott. Detroit's penalty kill, as we talked about, ranks second in the NPSL, 71%. They've allowed just 9 power play goals this year in 31 tries.
Great block by the little big man. Wow.
I think he's changed his name a little bit. It's a little big dog we were reading earlier today.
Yeah, I don't know where that one came from.
Little big dog. Here's a shot and a goal. Well, he couldn't get it done on the shootout opportunity, but David Bascombe able to go top shelf and beat Brian Finnerty. Harrisburg now claims their first lead of the game.
Gino DeFlorio with the assist. He's always on these set plays. Great weighted pass, and that's a very, very good finish by David Bascombe. See the weighted pass. He bends it with power with the inside of his foot right into the stanchion. Brian Finnerty, no chance. The Heat for the Rockers 2.
10:40 left to go here in the opening half. Stick around for us at the half. We'll have a couple of nice pieces and an in-depth interview with Sean Bowers, one of the injured Rockers. Now a 3-on-2. Another shot that goes just wide. Harrisburg really looking to pour it on now. They continue to, suddenly they found their legs here, Brian.
Well, their second quarter's always been their best, and that was another great chance. So they've scored a goal and they've had a couple of other very good chances. Missed a shootout. They're into it now.
Job by Dwayne Bader to take control and hold on to the ball. Near side, Stu Black. Detroit trying to set up some type of play. Janino Martinez.
Here's another break.
Up ahead, DeFlorio waiting for Finnerty, doing a good job to come way out and knock it out of the NPSL's leading goal scorers hold there.
Yeah, Brian Finnerty.
Free kick.
Brian Finnerty did great coming out there because Gino DeFlorio almost got a toe on it, and that would have been an empty netter. But there's no way that guy should have been on his own anyway.
DeFlorio and Ernst battling in the near corner, trying to get possession. Ernst boots it out of the yellow line, but Harrisburg will keep control of midfield with their keeper coming out and playing it up to Mike Williams up the near side with 9:15 now left to go in the opening half. Williams dribbling and then sending it back to his keeper on the far side. Doug Petrus has allowed 1 goal, a 2-pointer from Lee Chantret. All the scoring taking place here in this second quarter. Chantret lets it roll to the far side wall, now in the corner. Martinez able to pinch in. Chantret dumped from behind, and we'll get a free kick for Lee Chantret, who doesn't appear to be getting along all that well with today's refs.
Joe Rudy's from the east, and Lee Chantret played up in Hershey. They go back a long way. Joe gave him the benefit of the doubt there, and it's 3-point range. Janoni Martinez, he's got a heck of a left foot.
Brings it to the near side. Prescott tees it up, and it goes off the dasher. Martinez follow-up went wide. And Martinez able to hold it in at the far side wall. Chantret goes back down in the corner. Giving chase there, Rodrigo Gonzalez. Gonzalez held from behind by Mike Williams. Well, Williams doesn't like that call.
Michael Williams not happy at all, but just motivating the players around him. Don't want to give a goal up.
Chantret in front. Somehow, some way, even from the seat of his pants, Joe Malachino was able to get the shot away, but an easy save there for Petrus. Brings it to Williams up the near side. DeFlorio tried to center it, and we've got another whistle on the far sideline.
Late tackle by Randy Prescott, just clipped Gino DeFlorio, and free kick for the Heat just in front of the penalty box, and Gino's on the ball again.
4-2, Harrisburg on top. After a couple of 2-point goals, won a power play goal. Send it in front. Callahan with a good job to head it out of the way. Prescott with a spin up in the air and fires it down toward midfield. It bounces over the plexiglass and into the Palace crowd. A quick timeout. 7:47 left to go in the first half. Harrisburg doubling up Detroit 4-2 on Fox Sports Net.
My world, my life, my game. My world, my life, my game. My world, my life, my world, my life, my life, my game, my game.
This is the story of Season 9 in the FA Carling Premiership.
Oh, that's a brilliant finish!
An epic tale that displays the finest players that this league has to offer.
What a brilliant goal!
Capture every moment with live week-by-week coverage available through your pay-per-view provider. The English Premier League, Sunday, August 20th, live on pay-per-view.
Folks getting some pleasure out of coming to a Rockers game on a Sunday afternoon, but right now their home club is down by 2 to Harrisburg, 4-2. Connor goal and a goal by David Bascom. A power play tally has the Heat on top. But the Detroit is just one kick away from tying it up or maybe even going on top. Lee Chantrette has Detroit's lone goal. Callahan lost it at midfield. Littlewood with a shot and a save made by Finnerty to the near side box, and Prescott tried to swing it up the far side for Callahan. Knocked down briefly. Now chases it down in the far side wall. Punches it up into the Harrisburg zone. Chantrette will try and keep it there. Dumps it into the near corner. Now Ernst goes field wide, intended for Tranchette. Florio able to clear up the near side. Now Harrisburg at midfield. Pascal goes back. Salgado dribbling, throwing it into the far corner. A shot and a save by Finnerty with a right leg.
Big save by Brian Finnerty. Great ball by Eloy Salgado.
Salgado was hurt in between the midfield stripe and the yellow line in the Detroit zone.
Yeah, he'll shake it off.
Rodriguez back to his keeper, who comes way out over the yellow line to punch it into the near corner.
There you go. Get the ball and he'll shake it off.
Oh, he takes another hit from Callahan right in the Detroit box. Scombe holding just outside the yellow line to the near side. Rodriguez goes cross field. Salgado quickly gets healthy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how quickly they can recover from what appears to be serious injuries. Here's Connor with a 2-point goal already at the midfield stripe. DeFlorio, who's been very quiet, although he does have an assist.
Yeah, but he's playing deep. Lillevoy's the one who's posting up. Here he is.
Lillevoy bothered by Black. It's in front, cleared by Detroit in the box, but not out of the zone. Stu Black takes aim, fires it up the near side wall, just a little bit too far there for Gary DePalma. Florio sends it into the far corner, picked off there by Stu Black. Gets it out to midfield for Rodriguez, holding it there for Harrisburg as we approach the 5-minute mark of the first half. Lillevoy waits for it off the plexi, tries to wheel and fire, and I think they're going to get whistled there on Valentino Cicluna.
High kicking. Tino's only about 5'6", but getting a few shifts this afternoon.
So a good break for Detroit. Ernst with a touch pass into the near corner. DePalma with a shot in front and a save made there.
Chance for Joe Malachino there. Eloy Salguado just went off. Now he's back on again.
Yep.
Giving up a foul. It's amazing when they come back to a team they've played. They usually do well.
Tony Martinez dribbling up the near side wall. Plays it to himself off the near side corner. Takes a tough angle shot and a good save by Petrus there. Stu Black had it punched away briefly. Mike Williams at midfield. Oh, nice touch pass there for a shot, and Finnerty able to make the save. Actually, a pretty good job by Detroit to get back on defense and force a mild opportunity there. Tripoli with a good job to get back on his man. Otherwise, the opportunity there for Kyle Swartz would have been a little bit tougher for Goose Finnerty. Visit the Rockers website at www.detroitrockers.com. Catch up on all the latest news and happenings of your Rockers. Check out www.detroitrockers.com, the official website of your Detroit Rockers. 4:05 left to go here in the first half. Talk about some keys to the game. DeFlorio, the main guy who makes things go for Harrisburg, has an assist tonight, but hasn't really factored in all that much. But as Brian Tinian has mentioned throughout the broadcast, that he's been playing a little bit deeper than he usually does, and it appears as though, at least in this first half of play, that Harrisburg is pleased with Bernie Lillevoy to play down low. 100-point leaders in the NPSL.
It's pretty amazing. 138 points.
That includes the assist tonight.
Yep, and Bernie Lillevoy
is 11th. And Lee Chantrette tied for 17th amongst the NPSL leaders. And already has a 2-point goal here today. Although Lee Chantrette also, besides the 2-point goal, also has a costly penalty that allowed the power play goal for Harrisburg to put them up on top 4-2. So after the timeout, Goose Finnerty will trigger it for Detroit, bring it out of the box toward midfield. Swing it to Callahan. Drew Callahan playing slightly injured. Randy Prescott suffering a bout against the flu, so got a couple of defenders who are laying it out there for Detroit here this afternoon. Prescott throwing it in the near corner. And he'll hold it in on the far side. Dwayne Bader back to Prescott. He'll punch it, try to go down low. Williams heads it out. Held in there. Went rolling on the ground right there outside the box for Detroit is Rodrigo Gonzalez. He remains down on the Palace carpet. Took a shot as he was trying to head it out to the far side for Lee Chantrette and a possible Rockers scoring opportunity.
Tom Berman, the Rockers trainer, having a word with Rodrigo.
Let's see what happened to Rodriguez here just outside the Harrisburg box.
He went
in the middle.
He went up to try a volley. Got a bit of contact.
Boy, it looked like his right knee there.
Hard to tell, really, isn't it? See how he goes.
See if his right knee buckles at all. No, maybe he just took it upstairs a little bit before Williams could head it out of there.
Yeah, I think he could be right there, Matt. Seems a bit groggy on the floor. Probably contact on the head.
So with 3:24 left to go in the first half, the last thing Detroit needs is another injured player.
To be fair to Harrisburg as well, they're pretty banged up and lost Wendell Regis for the season last night in that great win in Baltimore. Both teams very thin, not many players on the bench. Drago in pensive mood, looking for some answers. Rodrigo seems to be okay. Tom's taking him off.
Well, that's good news for Detroit. This is a guy who's logged a lot of carpet time here in the first half as well. So cold water always refreshes you, doesn't it? Unless it's Powerade, and if it's Powerade, then. All right, here's what we got coming up for you at the half. An interview with the Rockers head coach, Drago. See what his thoughts are on the first 30 minutes of play. We'll talk a little bit more about Detroit's stifling defense, and we'll have highlights and statistics from the first half as well. That's right here coming up at the half on Fox Sports Net. Randy Prescott plays it off the dasher on the far side. Midfield there, Cicluna. Back to Callahan. Tries to fire it into the far corner. Malachino plays it off the dasher to Ernst. Tim Ernst holding. Tried to go back up the far side wall for Chantrette. Good job by Harrisburg to try and get it out of there. They finally get it to midfield. Salgado. Now on the far side there, Kyle Swartz up ahead. Fire it into the far side. Chantrette able to pick it off. And then poked away there by Beck Everett.
Tell you what, Lee Tranchette brings a lot to this Detroit Rocket team. I mean, he's always working hard.
You're saying besides the 70 points that he has, right?
Exactly. He's always the first one back. His work rate's tremendous. He gets stuck in and he motivates the rest of the players. Sometimes he just goes in the box a little bit too often.
Sometimes you take the good with the bad, right?
There you go.
Harrisburg trying to build on their 4-2 lead. They have it in the near corner. Now here's Kyle Swartz at midfield for DeFlorio. Taps it to the near side wall. Now gets it back. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Cleared by Drew Callahan out to midfield. Detroit with no one around there. So an easy play for the Harrisburg keeper. Petrus fires it back up over the head there.
of the Detroit defender, Gary Palmlin, back in on Brian Finnerty. Palmlin will now move up and take his forward position.
Detroit will try and pressure with Stu Black, who has an assist already tonight. The assist coming on the Lee Chan-Tret 30th goal of the season. Tim Ernst, sliding into Petrus in the box, trying to chase down the loose ball.
He scored a goal like that against Edmonton last week, and fortunately Doug Petrus was a bit lighter on his toes than the Edmonton goalie, and doesn't result in a goal.
Petrus will play it down low. Lilleball waits for it. Tries to body his man up. Plays it back. A quick shot. Oh, it didn't roll over the goal line, though.
Great move by Bernie Lilleboy. Toe poke.
Drew Kaufman made a nice toe poke, though. It was Lilleboy with a nice feed to Kaufman, who made the bid for the goal.
Yeah, Rocker's got a break there off the heel of Brian Finnerty.
44 seconds left to go in the first half. Lilleboy had a bounce off the back of his leg. DeFlorio then finds him in the box. Good job by Stu Black to head it to the far corner. Stu Black's played a nice first half. And then he punched it up into the Palace crowd with just 31 ticks left to go here in this first half.
Another injury for the Harrisburg Heat.
They will get the free kick in the far corner. You see the numbers on Stu Black. Forget about just 6 points. What he brings to this team is a little bit more than that. Solid one-on-one defender when he needs to down in the corners. Bascom, Lillebon in the box. Tried to get it back to Bascom. But Detroit doing a good job defensively. Now Bascom fires it in the near corner. A touch pass and they score.
Great one-touch passing again.
I think it was Kyle Swords to Gino DeFlorio. They sure don't look tired now. Harrisburg, despite getting in at 4 in the morning, they got some fresh legs. And Gino DeFlorio with his 47th goal this season. And now 140 points on the year.
Great one-touch pass, and there's Gino DeFlorio sniffing at the far post. And the beauty of this goal from the Harrisburg Heat standpoint is there's only 9 seconds left in the half.
Exactly.
It's amazing how many goals are scored very late and very early in each quarter, and there was a little bit of lack of concentration there.
47th goal by DeFlorio this year. That ranks 5th in the NPSL. And the clock winds down, and that'll do it for the first 30 minutes of play. Detroit drew first blood scoring early with a 2-point goal from their leading scorer, Lee Chan-Tret. But Brian Finnerty then beaten for 3 straight 2-point goals, and Harrisburg has the momentum and the lead at the break. It's the Heat 6, the Rockers 2. This is Rockers Soccer on Fox Sports Net.
Soccer network on earth, Fox Sports World.
From all corners of the globe, Football Mundial covers the game that unites the world. The best and only international soccer magazine show that features legends of the game, historical moments, and future superstars. In-depth profiles on the players that make the game what it is. A first for the world's greatest sport. Football Mundial on Fox Sports World. Get your game.
Rugby 101. Pop quiz. What's a rugby player's favorite drink? His own blood. What's his favorite meal? Ear. Medium rare. What's he call a broken bone? Mosquito bite. On game day, what's he wear for protection? Not much. Want to know how tough rugby players are? At the beginning of every match, this is a live pig.
Rugby 101. Our balls are bigger than yours. Fox Sports World Online features up-to-the-minute sports news, programming schedules, and much more. Visitors can also send questions and comments via a direct email link. Check us out at www.foxsportsworld.com.
This is a Fox Sports world-class moment.
Well-timed run here. Held on to. Zamorano goal!
This has been a Fox Sports world-class moment.
For the Rockers to make it a season series sweep at the expense of Harrisburg, they'll have to stage a second-half comeback. They trail 6-2. Welcome back to the Palace alongside Brian Tinney. My name is Matt Shepard. Harrisburg will open up this third quarter with the ball moving left to right. Detroit able to get it back to midfield. Compliments of Tim Ernst. Now Lee Chantret near side. You see Harrisburg dominating in shots on goal. 21-10. Callahan with a drive and a big save made there by the Harrisburg keeper Doug Petrus. Detroit, as you heard during our halftime intermission, and Drago talking to us about having to put a little bit more pressure on the Harrisburg net, and feels like, yeah, they did indeed miss an opportunity there early on in the first quarter. This third quarter, Harrisburg does not fare all that well to start the third. So Detroit will try. There's a goal. Lee Chantret makes it 2 goals in the same game. And that's a good way to start this second half, isn't it? A 2-point goal, buries it far post at a tough angle. Wow.
Well, we said that a lot of goals are scored late and early in every quarter. And there's another example. Only 31 seconds in. Started on a set play, came back to Lee Tranchette, and he drilled it between a defender and the goalkeeper who had the near post covered. Great start for the Rockers here in the third quarter, and also for lucky Lee Tranchette.
Well, no luck involved there. That's all skill. Lee Chantret buries his 31st goal of the season, his 18th of the 2-point variety, to give Detroit a chance here to draw within a tie, or maybe even go on top with their next lamplighter. It's 6-4 Harrisburg. Well, that'll add a little liveliness to your legs and throw a little juice in the adrenaline system for Detroit to start out the second half that way. Haven't even played a minute gone by in that third quarter.
Yeah, that's better than any halftime speech. Go out there, just get it done, early goal.
Stu Black has a couple of helpers now on the hockey, or in the game, soccer game. Getting my hockey and soccer mixed up a little bit. Watching the Vipers play in Kalamazoo last night, and still got the Vipers and K-Wings on the brain to a certain extent. Vipers will be playing right here on Fox Sports Net Tuesday when they take on the Utah Grizzlies. Hope you can join us for that. Now Martinez. Just inside the Harrisburg zone. Black with the 2 assists in the game gives it right back to Martinez. Waiting and waiting. Dribbling. Punches it to the near side. Chantret. Oh, the Harrisburg yellow line. Throws it into the far corner. A little long for Bader. Now Prescott to Martinez, who decides to go back to his keeper. And Martinez needs a quick breather. Drew Callahan is fresh for Drago's club. Chantret goes field wide. Callahan doing a good job controlling it. Now up the far side, Lillowa. Bothered by Chantret, sends it into the near corner. Prescott does a good job with the left foot to get it out of harm's way. A 3-on-3 now. Ernst going wide on Rodriguez. Holding back momentarily. And now Callahan will take over at midfield.
Both teams getting line changes. That's why the Rockers are keeping possession here. Randy Prescott back to Goose. Looking to send it off the backboard, and it goes into the crowd.
That's the second time he's done that tonight. Had an opening and throws it up into the Palace crowd. 12-12, so just underway here in the third. Harrisburg on top 6-4. Detroit had scored the opening goal from Lee Chantret. Stu Black with the assist there in that second quarter before Harrisburg had 3 2-point goals in a row, 1 on the power play after Chantrette had taken a penalty. That one is blocked. Williams tried to get it in on net and was poked up into the Palace crowd. Williams will get a breather.
Yeah, good block again by Black. As you say, 2 assists and played some good defense. DeFlorio.
Pass was picked off briefly. Harrisburg has a